And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the channel. Schedule release day. This isn't usually that exciting of a day for me, but I don't know why. For some reason, this year it kind of excited me a little bit more than other years. I think I'll be honest with you. I think it's just because of the way the 2024 season went. I feel like the Jaguars were completely robbed of a season last year, right? I feel like there was a huge void in my Jaguars 2024 fandom where the Jaguars started 0-4. They looked like crap. And before I knew it, halfway through the year, I was rooting for the Jaguars to lose so we can get the best draft pick. And luckily, we ended up with Travis Hunter. So, sometimes, guys, when you suck, it's just best to bottom out because you don't want to end up like the Indianapolis Colts at 8-9 when you know that you're awful, but you end up drafting like the second tight end taken, right? But yeah, the Jaguars did what they needed to do, and 2025 I think is going to be an awesome time. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Daniel was the first comment. Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. What's up, man? BG4X, Mile High Jaguar. We have Jordan in the building. What's up, Vinny? Squirrel. So Ashton Hall was the Jaguars schedule reveal thing. I didn't know who that guy was until like 10 minutes ago. I don't understand it. I'm not going to complain about a schedule release video. Just not me. But I'm really feel like I'm getting old because I'm not understanding like I'm not understanding like pop culture references. I'm not under there's kids that comment stuff in my comment section that I had to ask like ChatGPT what it means. It's just I'm getting older. I'm 31. I'm a dad now. I'm in a weird place, right? But anyways, enough about me. Let's go ahead and talk about the Jaguars. And I did the liberty, guys. I did the liberty of making ourselves a pretty good graphic so you guys can kind of visualize this stuff a little better, right? Let me present this up here. Schedule preview. Okay. T1F says, we're dads now. I can relate. Yeah, that's it is what it is. And I've accepted that. I've accepted that I am no longer a cool guy. I don't understand stuff anymore. I'm just going to let it be. I've accepted the fact that I'm old and I don't understand references. Okay. So schedule preview. The Jaguars play 8 home games, 8 away games, and 1 game in London. The Jaguars play the entire AFC West and the NFC West. So those are the 2 conferences that or divisions that we play. The Jaguars play a 3rd place schedule, which brings the Jaguars, the Panthers, the Bengals, and the Jets. So the Jaguars are the only teams in the AFC South that will play the Panthers, Bengals, Jets. It's funny with this. Like, I love to play the Jets. I love to play the Panthers. I feel like the Bengals is a tough draw. I feel like I would rather play the 2nd place Steelers than the 3rd place Bengals, but it is what it is. This is just how it lines up. And then the Jaguars have one primetime game, and that is Week 5 at home against the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. I am not, a lot of people get excited about how many primetime games we get. The Chiefs on Monday Night Football, I'm scared about that one. I mean, the Chiefs win the AFC every single year. They were 15-2 last year. The Jaguars have had really bad luck on, I shouldn't say luck, they've just been playing awful on prime time. I mean, you can't really excuse when the Jaguars play the Bengals on Monday Night Football because Trevor Lawrence was absolutely balling. Honestly, having one of his best games of his career before twisting the ankle. Then everything has been south since the Jaguars since then. I think the next week or two, the Jaguars play the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. Awful. The next year, the Bills on Monday Night Football. Awful. The Jaguars had a Sunday night game against the Eagles. They got flexed back down to 4 o'clock. So playing primetime games, getting our ass whooped on national television is not a very fun pastime for me. But hopefully with the new regime, we're in a different place, okay? So when it comes to 2024 records, the Jaguars, the team records combined for 135 and 154, which 46.7% win percentage. So when you add it up, I mean, mostly losses. Now, granted, 6-26 of this is the Tennessee Titans, so we factored that in. But yeah, there's Jaguars only play 6 games versus playoff teams, and 2 of those being the Texans. So overall, like, when you actually look at it from this perspective, like when I look at the schedule, it looks kind of hard to me. But when you actually break it down like this, it's not that tough. It's not that tough. But of course, teams are different every year. So it is what it is. So the first quarter of the season, week 1 at home against the Panthers. Then the Jaguars go to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. Week 3 at home against the Houston Texans. Then week 4 at the San Francisco 49ers, which is a 4:05 kickoff. So there is some rough history that, first of all, the Carolina Panthers, the Jaguars actually played them in the home opener in 2015, and then the Panthers went on to go to the Super Bowl. Really hot game, of course, September game. So that'll be a good one. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to beat the Panthers because if you ask Panthers fans, they're going to say, oh, Jaguars week 1, easy victory. I don't think that we really have the luxury of saying we're going to beat anybody outside of like the Titans. I mean, the Titans, we weren't even trying to beat them and we somehow swept them last year, right? So Carolina Panthers should be a tough battle. The Jaguars actually are favorites that game, but I like that week 1 matchup because it's very, very winnable. You know, I'd be a lot more nervous if it was week 1 against any of these other teams, the Bengals, Texans, or 49ers, right? So the next week at the Bengals, that'll be a tough one. I wish that, man, when Trevor Lawrence got drafted, I really thought that the Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence thing would turn into like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, where 2 young quarterbacks playing each other every year because they're coming up top of their divisions, but they haven't actually played against each other since 2021 before Urban Meyer got the dirty finger, right? Last time the Jags played them, like I said, in 2023 on Monday Night Football, it wasn't Joe Burrow that was actually playing. It was, I forget the guy's name, but he balled out against the Jaguars. But week 2, I would expect them to be healthy, and sometimes playing the Bengals first at the beginning of the season is the best because they don't usually start off very good. So at Cincinnati, then week 3 at home against the Texans. Guys, the Jaguars have not beat the Texans at home since 2017. It's time to take the division back, man. We need to beat the Texans not only once, but freaking sweep those guys. They've not only beat us a lot in recent history, they've beat us over our franchise history, right? It's going to take like, I think 15 years to be able to straighten up that record against them. So we'll see. But yeah, Texans, back-to-back AFC South champions. Let's take them down. Week 4 at the San Francisco 49ers. That is always a tough game for us. The Jaguars, let me look up. I had this stat on Twitter for us. Let me pull it up for you guys. The Jaguars have not beat the 49ers since 2005. The Jaguars hold a 5-game losing streak. And each of those 5 losses have been double-digit loss games, right? The 49ers have owned us, and I didn't realize until 2021 when the San Francisco 49ers came to Jacksonville how many freaking 49ers fans were in Florida. My God, they're like the Dallas Cowboys, how many fans they were. And they came to us. They whooped us in 2021. They whooped us again in 2023. That's a tough matchup, even though they actually didn't have a good record last year. They were 6-11. I mean, they definitely feel like they were a lot better than that, but they are, it's going to be a tough matchup, but we'll see. Shout out to Eric in here. He's always in the AFC South roundtable. He says, "You see a Jaguar, always the best Jags commentary." Hey, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Adrian, thoughts on the schedule release video? I don't have any thoughts. I don't understand references. I'm an old man, is what it is. I'm not going to take, I really like the one where that CBS guy did the whole thing with the script. That was really good. Last year, it was some weird cartoon anime thing, another thing that I'm too old to understand. Whatever. I've just accepted the fact that I'm in my 30s. I don't know anything anymore. BB Smith, what's going on, man? Good to have you in here. So with these teams, on 2024 records, they combined for 30-38, 44.1% winning percentage, and 1 playoff team. So if we can come out of this one, let's beat the Panthers. Let's beat the Texans. If we can come out of this one 2-2, I'm good with it, right? I don't want to go 1-3. Definitely not 0-4. Come out of this 2-2 somehow, and hopefully beat the Texans to be 1-0 in the AFC South. Second quarter of the season, the Jaguars play the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. I'm nervous about that one. Seattle Seahawks at home. The Los Angeles Rams, that game's in London. Week 8 is the bye week. Week 9 at the Las Vegas Raiders. 2024 records are 39-29, 57.4% win percentage, and there's 2 playoff teams in this mix. So Kansas City Chiefs Monday Night Football, that will always be a hard game. I wish this wasn't Monday Night Football. I mean, I would rather why not the Rams on Monday Night Football, right? You have I have Liam Cohen over here in his Rams shirt. James Gladstone also. I would have rather moved this Kansas City Chiefs game to London, played them over there. We've seen them enough at home. We've seen us get our asses whooped enough at home by the Kansas City Chiefs. Would have rather the Rams game been on Monday Night Football. Bring them over here. I don't like moving NFC games to London because they really only come here like every 8 years. I mean, it was a 16-year gap between when the Cowboys visited in 2022 and 2006, I think it was, because the Jaguars had moved one of the home games over to London. So whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to complain too much. But yeah, Chiefs Monday Night Football, that's hard. Seattle Seahawks, very beatable. Sam Darnold starting at quarterback. They were 10-7 last year, but I think they're very beatable. Los Angeles Rams, they are, them and the Chiefs. So I mentioned how the Jaguars hadn't beat the 49ers since 2005. The Jaguars currently hold an 8-game losing streak against the Chiefs. Haven't defeated them since 2009. That 8-game losing streak is like one of the longest losing streaks in the NFL right now. So Jaguars had to beat them. Jaguars haven't beat the Rams since 2009. The Jaguars only have one total franchise victory against the Rams. Only one victory in our franchise history against the Rams. So these first 7 weeks, we're trying to break a lot of streaks here, and hopefully we do it. And, in and off against the Las Vegas Raiders in Vegas, played them last year at the end of the year. Tank Bowl, Poop Bowl. It was one of those games where, hey, I was happy because I was on Team Tank and Brian Thomas Jr. had a good game, right? Those are like the two things I care about. Lose and let Brian Thomas Jr. go off. So with this one, we start out this season really tough. We just at this point, we got to skate around the 500 mark. If we come out of here 3-4, maybe less than ideal, but I'll take, I guess, I shouldn't say I'll take it, but it's less than ideal, but we're still in a good spot. 4-3 would be fantastic. So that's what we're looking at here. Now we move on. Third quarter of the season. Now, I made this PowerPoint when I had the Raiders over. I had them over here, but I moved them back here just because of the bye, just so you guys could see who we're playing after the bye week. So I have Ginty over here, of course. A lot of Jaguars fans fell in love with him because we thought he was potentially going to be a Jaguar, but he is not. So now he's the ops, but we have number 12, Travis Hunter. Kyle Donovan with a $10 super chat. Appreciate that so much, man. Says, what's up, UCF? I hope you're well, brother. Congrats on being a dad. I wish you and the family well in Duval. Yeah, one reason why I was late doing the stream was because we were putting him to bed. So he's in bed right now in the bassinet. Hopefully he has a full night of sleep. Of course, the other night he got 8 hours of sleep. Was really nice. Last night he was up a lot. He was a little fussy today, but yeah, being a dad, it's awesome. And I appreciate that, Donovan. So yeah, third quarter, we are looking at Houston, and then at home versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Week 12 at the Arizona Cardinals. Week 13 at the Tennessee Titans. And that Cardinals game is a 4:05 kickoff. So 2024 records, 32-36, 47.1% win percentage, and 2 playoff teams. So one reason why I say it's okay to be like 3-4 or 4-3 is because the end of the season actually gets a lot easier when it comes to teams you're playing. You play the Titans twice. You play the Colts twice, and I don't think the Colts are going to be very good. And one thing that's weird about this schedule is we play the Houston Texans twice before we play any other AFC South team. And one thing I actually looked up on ChatGPT because I'm like, dude, why do we keep playing the Titans so late in the season? And I asked ChatGPT, when was the last time the Jaguars played the Titans in the month of September or October? Let me know. What do you guys think it was? I'll leave this open for a little bit. When do you think the last time the Jaguars played the Titans in September or October? I'll be honest with you. It'll surprise you. Robert says 2017. Not 2017. 2018, not 2018. Michelle says 2017. Not them, but you guys are all close. 2019. How crazy is that? Like what? Like, and sometimes I complain about stupid stuff. I can admit sometimes I complain about stupid stuff, but like, I'm not going to complain about this. But it's weird, right? Like, why are we not? And I would have thought that this year would have been the year where we play them in September. I mean, number 1 pick versus number 2 overall pick. That's good, intriguing stuff. But no, we play them week 13, similar to last forever. So yeah, I mean, we used to play them a lot to start the year, but not anymore. So yeah, it's been 6 years now since we last played them in October or September, a team that we play twice a season. So yeah, that just is what it is. But Texans, sweep those guys, man. Start beating them. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, it's okay if we split. It's fine. No, let's sweep them. Let's take back the AFC South. Let's just do it. I don't care. They weren't that good last year. They won the AFC South by default the last 2 years. It took a catastrophic collapse from the Jaguars in 2023. In 2024, every team just sucked. And look, if they were in the AFC West, the AFC North, the AFC East, they would not have won the division. I mean, they only had one win in a regular season against a team with a winning record in 2024. So let's beat those frauds. Let's just do it. Los Angeles Chargers at home. We all know what happened in 2022, right? 27-0. Also swept them that year. Played them in like week 2 or week 3 in Los Angeles. Beat the brakes off of them. At Arizona Cardinals. That one should be a fun game. Kyler Murray versus Trevor Lawrence, 2 number 1 overall picks. And the Arizona Cardinals, they were like 8-9 last year. I have no idea what to expect from the Cardinals this year. I really don't. They're a team that hired a defensive coach. They are kind of like the Miami Dolphins, just kind of skating around that mediocrity point, not really getting over the hump. And then at the Tennessee Titans, that's the only team where I sit here and say, you got to beat the Titans. You got to beat the Titans because the Titans were like 3-14 last year. They were awful. The Jaguars swept them, and we were awful. That was. I think that is the worst thing about being a Jaguars fan, right? Having those December games where stuff means absolutely nothing. Those Titans games were the worst games ever to watch, right? Especially when I'm on Team Tank and I'm like, oh, we won 10-6, yay, whoopee, or 9-7, or whatever we won by, yay, we won, fun. I'm gonna go talk all this crap to my Titans friends. I mean, if the Jaguars would have just split, they would have had a number 1 overall pick. We'd have a first rounder next year, but it is what it is. Look, it all goes into overall record. It's fine. It's fine, okay? But yeah, beat the Titans. Sweep them. Let's do it again. So finally, fourth quarter, versus the Colts, versus the Jets, at the Broncos, at the Colts, and versus the Titans. So the Broncos 405 kickoffs. Lots of 405 kickoffs this year since we're playing the NFC West and the AFC West. 34-51. Daryl says, I understand sweeping Tennessee because they're our biggest rival. Yeah, look, I understand. If you want to, if you're someone that wants to win, I completely understand. I'm not gonna argue that you should want us to lose. Just like how you shouldn't argue with me saying that I should be rooting for the Jags to win. It's just there really is no wrong answer, but the right answer is that being 4-13 sucks, right? Having to have the conversation in December whether you want to win this game or lose this game sucks. So let's not do that anymore. I was so upset thinking we lost Travis, but it worked out. Yeah, I mean, it worked out. It cost us a first-round pick next year and our second-round pick this year, but it's what it is. So, yeah, this is when this tail end of the season gets a lot easier. 40% win percentage amongst these teams, only one playoff team. So, yeah, the Indianapolis Colts haven't beat the Jaguars in Jacksonville since 2014. Also, the Jets, that's a fun one. That game last year was fun because Jaguars did 2 things, right? Like I said earlier, they lost the game and Brian Thomas Jr. went off. That's all I cared about last year. So hopefully they do the same thing. This is a cool uniform game. I do like the Jets went back to their old uniforms. I mean, these uniforms look nice. Of course, Brian Thomas Jr. in the throwbacks and the Prowlers. I would expect the Prowlers to be worn 4 times this year for the Jags. That would be a lot of fun. And hopefully in 2026, I have a feeling Tony Baselli said on 1010XL that stay tuned. I think the Jaguars will be going back to the throwbacks in some sense or fashion. Like, I think they'll have the new logo on it. I don't know what they're going to do about the Prowler, but yeah, they're awesome jerseys. So yeah, Jets were awful last year. Aaron Glenn, they're kind of in a similar situation as us, except we got the better quarterback. At the Denver Broncos, under Sean Payton, that'll be a hard draw over there in Denver. At the Colts, let's sweep the Colts. Who are we playing against? Are we playing against Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson? You know, if we were somehow playing against Daniel Jones in both these games, you know, the Jaguars have only played against Anthony Richardson once in his career, and that was Week 1 in 2023. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that guy is just a nutcase in himself. So you end off at the Colts, at the Tennessee Titans. So yeah, like what, 4 out of your final 6 games are against AFC South opponents. Maybe that Tennessee Titans game, maybe that is for the AFC South. I hope we have it locked up, and I hope it is. Who's our backup? Nick Mullins playing that game. I hope Austin Trammell is catching touchdown passes. I hope that's what's going on. So, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, shout out to everybody in here. I wanted to do this live stream real quick because look, we got the schedule. This is good stuff. I'll be looking forward to all of this, and I look forward to just like a fun football season. 2024 sucked. It was never fun at any point. We went 0-4. We were out of it before we could even start it. Doug Peterson was a train wreck. We were dealing with Trevor Lawrence's injuries. The defense was shifting in and out like a hockey team, the way Ryan Nielsen called that defense. It was awful. So I'm expecting a lot better things in 2025. So we'll just have to see. With that said, thank you everybody for being here. If you guys can, please do me a favor, drop a like on the stream. Appreciate everyone for being here. Shout out to Kyle for the super chat. Shout out to all the people who are making this chat awesome. And with that said, go Jags.